I competed in a very stacked Heroclix tournament, and all I got was this green sword. Adepticon is one of the biggest wargaming conventions in the US, and when I heard that Heroclix will be hosting a tournament there, I had to get a piece of that action. I've been playing Heroclix for a long time, mostly at the kitchen table or local events, so this was going to be a venture into something completely new for me. With all this in mind, I knew I needed some help, so I reached out to two people who are experts in competitive Heroclix. Lucas Van Hollen and Daniel Powell are both really good Heroclix players who have been playing the competitive scene for a very long time, so I knew I had to reach out to them. They also have their own YouTube channel and podcast, so I'll leave those links in the description below because they're very insightful if you want to get into competitive Heroclix. While sifting through the copious amount of figures that there are available to me, I knew I had to narrow it down to just a couple, because there's only a certain amount of characters that are actually viable in the current meta right now. There was two in particular that I was gravitating towards, Wonder Woman Prime and Arachknight. Wonder Woman Prime is one of the best all-around pieces in the game. She gives great support, hits like a truck, and a tremendous amount of defensive shell options. It's one of the few pieces in the current meta that boasts a 19 defense with defend. And with the help of Jennifer Kale or Captain America Pegasus, she becomes a legitimate threat to many teams. So I would have to rely on shelling up, taking a barrage of hits, and then being able to attack with a lot of offensive potency. Arachknight, on the other hand, is a better attacker than Wonder Woman, but doesn't offer much support for the rest of the cast. He is, however, very hard to put down, especially with the right tools. His mixture of rollouts and precision strike help offer some counterplay to many of the metagame staples like Spider-Man Prime and Carnage Silver Surfer. So with this in mind, I had two pieces, two different play styles, but I had to pick one. But then, something happened. Kong was released and legal for Adepticon, so I had to look to see what the monkey did, and oh my. Oh my. He has great defense, hard to damage, he's unoutwittable, and has a lot of damage output. This figure is nuts, or should I say, bananas. After seeing the great Nozaru, I knew that Arachknight would be the option. It wasn't until recently that he actually started seeing a spike in play. I know a while ago I said that we would see him rise in stock, but he didn't really rise in stock, he kind of just plateaued. But now he's starting to see a lot more action, and why? It's because of Precision Strike. Precision Strike right now, in my opinion, is one of the greatest powers in the game. The reason why I think this is obviously because you can deal at least one damage to a hit character, and it also helps negate super senses, which a lot of these figures right now in the meta are running. I opted to go the Mystic route and add Ghost Rider. One of Arachknight's significant weaknesses is that he is easily outwitted. Ghost Rider prevents this happening with his King of the Underworld trait. Ghost Rider can use characters on the sideline with applicable keywords as a pilot and use their printed standard attack and damage powers. I added two pilots for Ghost Rider, the standard 001 Ghost Rider to give him Steel Energy and Shape Change, and the LE Blade that would provide him with Precision Strike and Battle Fury to deal with Carnage Silver Surfers on the sideline. The only reason I have Blade is for Carnage Silver Surfers, because if I put Blade as Ghost Rider's pilot, Carnage Silver Surfer can get one shot from the starting line, and only have a 6 to roll out on a Super Senses because of Precision Strike. Next, I needed some support, so I turned to the greatest support engine in the game, the Masters of Evil, or MOEs. The MOEs can swap into each other depending on what you need in a specific situation, like Iron Inquisitor, perplexing and giving prob, Kid Thanos for deployment, and King Killmonger for dealing with equipped characters. This also means I would main force Mephisto, another great form of support on my team. Mephisto also really makes the MOE engine really work because he's able to heal and take an action token off if a Master of Evil is swapped in or out. If it's just a regular character swapped in or out, you can do one or the other. But having that option is really good. Also having an outwit and prob piece all in one 30 points is really nice as well. I will add the Scott Porters because they are the game's best and most used pieces. They offer great support and rerolls on attacks and rollouts, and White Shirt Porter has the best Pulse Wave ability in the game. Also, as a side note, I mean, most of everybody on the Adepticon roster was running either both Porters or one Porter, so if I go through this video and I don't mention that it's on their team, it's probably because it is on their team, but I don't want to say Scott Porter every single time. After adding Daredevil as a utility piece, I knew the game was all set. Assigning equipment would be pretty straightforward. Arachknight took Soul Sword, Ghost Rider with Bucky's arm, White Shirt Porter with Sinestro Core Ring, and Daredevil with the red ring for penetrating poison? Yeah, looking back on this, I don't think I would do that next time. I think I would opt for the Muramasa blade. I think that has more potential, but live and you learn. Absorbing Man was the obvious choice since I didn't have a main force prime. My thoughts for A-Man were this. He would be a timer-like presence for my opponents. Honestly, I really didn't care if he came out on the field or not. I wanted to use it more as a pressure piece. And for my last slot on the sideline, I opted to put in Chthon, which I 100% just put it on Ghost Rider, which I think most people would do. I also made a tarot deck because it's kind of stupid to not make a tarot deck. The sad reality is right now, it's not hard to hit characters. There's very, very few instances where there's characters not hitting with a 13 or above attack. So I opted to go the route that says, you're gonna hit me, that's 100%. However, I have all these rollouts. So having rollouts like Shape Change, Super Senses, and Impervious were really detrimental to my team. All of which are a 1 in 3 chance of rolling out of the attack. But with tarot cards and the Spider-Man team ability, most of the time I'll be rolling a 50-50 on rollouts, or in some cases I'd be rolling a 3 through 6, which is a 2 in 3 chance. So my team was not whether or not you can hit me with your attack rolls, it was whether or not I can roll out of those with my rolls. And when people are consistently rolling a 6 or higher, or needing a 6 or higher to get their attacks off and hit, I like my odds a lot better. Which, by the way, rolling a 6 or higher is 26 out of the 36 possibilities, or a 72%. After some practicing, I entered a local 300-point win-a-map tournament, and I actually won it. Yeah, I used the exact team that I've used for Adepticon at there just to test it out and see how it would do, and I actually did pretty well. I faced quite a few teams with Kongs on them. In fact, I faced a team with 2 Kongs on it and a Blackheart. And I realized just how important having Precision Strike and Arachknight was right now. So with that being in mind, we head off to Adepticon. Hey, real quick, if you're watching this and you're just like, hey, I like this content, make sure to like and subscribe. I work really hard at these videos and I'm really proud of them. And I'm really glad that they've been reaching out to people that have and have not played the game. So I'm really excited to bring what I believe is an amazing, great game to new people and hopefully grow the community. I also have a Patreon now, which I will do giveaways on and other videos. So if you want to support me, go ahead and join that in the link in the description below. Now back to the video. Thanks for watching this for. So, let's jump into the games. And my first round was PJ Bolin. Now, I love PJ Bolin, even though he owes me a Spider-Man hat. But this man is just amazing at any game that he plays. This was my first round. I'm playing PJ Bolin. This is gonna be fun. PJ was playing an Amazon's team, including World's Finest, a crazy attacker in their own right, Death Metal Wonder Woman, who allows you to resurrect a character once per game from being KO'd, Batman Prime, Iconic Superman, and Dubia Wonder Woman, who also hits like a truck. This was going to be a super tough fight because it's basically this Wonder Woman team ability versus Spider-Man team ability, which are the exact same team abilities. So this whole game and this whole match was going to just be coming down to rollouts for the most part. It was a super close battle, but in the end, I barely came out victorious. Arachknight and Ghost Rider did a lot of the heavy lifting in this fight, and the outwits from Mephisto and then Daredevil also being a nuisance also came into effect as well. So I ended up winning round 1. So let's go move on to round 2. Round 2, I went up against Azareth Strife. And if you all know him, he's an amazing Heroclix player. So I actually talked with him and practiced against him before Adepticon, but he was using a Phoenix Sentinel team. But he actually switched it up for Adepticon, because Kong was legal now. But he gave me some awesome team building advice and also just overall advice in general, so thanks so much, man. You're a great dude. Az was playing a Kong monster team consisting of Kong, Blackheart for deployment, Carnage Silver Surfer, because why not? Colossal Carnage, and also Daredevil, along with the MOEs. I knew Colossal Carnage was going to be a problem because he has a trait that states that the first time I would use Super Senses during my turn, I would get a -1 to that. And I knew that would be a really big hindrance if I didn't get rid of it quick. This was my first mistake. Unfortunately for me, I did get the KO, but I overextended my Arachknight, and that allowed him to go and just basically gang up and destroy Arachknight on his first turn. Having Arachknight drop that early in the game made it really hard and put me on the back foot really early. After that, it just kind of fell into place all over for him, and I ended up just losing outright, unfortunately. It was a good game. I learned a lot from it, though, and I just realized that I just need to play a little bit smarter. So, round 3, who do I got? In round 3, I'm playing against Heroclix's own Scott Crampton. He took some time off from Shark Tank to just come and play some Heroclix, and I was really excited to play him. I've never played him before. At this point, I played 2 really respectable players, and now I'm playing against Scott Crampton, who has actually got top 4 at Worlds last year and also won multiple state events, and had a couple runner-ups as well. This was going to make or break how I did for the rest of the day. Scott was running an unthemed defensive shell team with a Wonder Woman Prime and Jennifer Kale. This makes it nearly impossible to hit them and crack that shell. He also had a Kong, Ghost Rider, and 2 two-gunned kids. I'm actually not going to speak much on this game because it's actually up on Dial H for Heroclix's channel, and actually the whole game in its entirety is really fun to watch, and I would just leave it up to them to watch it. But if you don't want to watch that, I do win. But it was very, very close. It came down to like a couple attacks. Side note, I now realize that I was using Iron Inquisitor's powered wrong. I realized that it says another friendly character and not a friendly character, so I could not target himself for the perplex. It's okay. I talked to Scott afterwards. We're cool. Round 4, I played against Ryan Bookwood, who was running the Symbiote special of Venom Thanos, Carnage Silver Surfer, the MOEs, and the dreaded Spider-Man Prime. You see, while I was practicing before Adepticon, I played against a guy named Wesley, and Wesley was playing a symbiote team that was very similar to his. So thanks to playing against Wesley, I had a lot of matchup experience against a team with this very similar build. So I felt very confident going in. At first look, this matchup is tough. Spidey and CSS can start popping off like crazy, especially if they start hitting early. Luckily, because of all the practice, I had a pretty good idea of the matchup before the game even began. I ended up winning that game because of all the practice I did. I am now 3-1 going into round 5. So from here on, I needed to win every game. In round 5, I played against Kenny Minks, longtime believer in Deathstroke. Deathstroke is very niche but very threatening. His pulse wave is crazy, being able to rip through most of my team. I knew Ghost Rider, who hinders pulse wave users, would be huge in this fight. It's almost nearly impossible to KO Deathstroke because of his mastermind ability. He was also running Wonder Woman Prime, World's Finest, and Gwen Stacy for leadership, as well as mastermind fodder for Deathstroke, because when she gets KO'd, she brings out the Ingwenable Hulk, who is a monster, for one click. He also played just Black Shirt Porter. I knew Wonder Woman would have to be one of the last people I needed to KO, because she is just way too hard to crack, so I had to go after the other mastermind fodder options first. I was able to take out World's Finest pretty early, and then after that I got Gwen Stacy and then Black Shirt, and then after that I kind of just defended up and just made sure that he couldn't hit. It was a very hard fought battle, but in the end I ended up taking the victory, but just barely. I was heading into the last round 4-1, and I knew this would be the toughest round of the entire event because of just the nature of it, of 4-1 probably going against a 4-1. So regardless of who I was playing, one of us was probably not making it to top cut. I looked at my pairings, I saw who I was facing, and I was playing against Daniel Powell. Daniel was running double Carnage Silver Surfers, Hope Summers, MOE, and Batman Prime. Daniel created this team to take advantage of dealing significant damage output by the Surfers and being incredibly defensive with the crazy amount of barrier the team could generate. I knew one of the big things I needed to do was make sure I could suffocate him as much as I can with my map choice. So when I rolled for map, I ended up winning and I took him to the Daily Bugle press room, which is a really claustrophobic and really emphasizes close attacking in that map. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is that every turn 1 that I had, I would use Daredevil to go out and grab the traffic barrel and kind of bait out my opponents. Because of Daredevil's cool ability to die and then come back immune is really nice, because that way I give you 10 points, but you have outpositioned yourself and I can come in for an alpha attack after that. Little did I know that I would make a crucial error turn 1. So he did the normal thing where he came up and he attacked and he KO'd Daredevil and he got the 10 points, but then I had to deal with his barrier. He could generate so much barrier that I had nothing I could do against it. So basically, for the most of the game, he was up 10 points to nothing. So I was on the back foot trying to get points and trying to scramble for points, and he was sitting very comfortably behind his barrier, being very defensive with that 10 points. Unfortunately, I lost the set. Lucas Van Hollen ended up actually winning the entire thing, and actually he didn't even drop a game. So super big congratulations to him, but also a big congratulations to the top 8 who made it as well. All your teams were awesome, and actually I had a lot of fun looking at them. I still ended up making the top 16, which I am very proud of. Playing and competing in a high-level tournament was so fun, and if there's one thing I can say about most of the Heroclix players, is that they're very welcoming and have a great community. Even though it is a tournament, I was still learning stuff and still getting advice from other players and help where I could. I still plan to go to some big level tournaments, and I'm really excited to see what 2024 Heroclix has in store for us. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll see you next time, where we talk about all things Heroclix.